Okay, so since we are all here to celebrate the same person, my guess would be that we all have a pretty good sense of his sense of style. And I had to be honest, when he first came, we were all convinced Miss Greta dressed him every morning. Like, it was like, there's no way he's coming looking like this. His wife is fixing him up. And then Miss Greta went to Oregon. We were like, he's still coming dressed. I remember one morning, he walked in with his little hat on, his little jacket. I said, look at you trying to look like Jerome from Morris Day. He said, Jerome wished he looked this good. I was like, excuse me. And so don't you judge me, it's coming out. You're leaving, you're good. So along with his sense of style, he occasionally, okay, like all the time, sorry, Katie, every day, he likes to share his thoughts and opinions on other people's sense of style. And sometimes it's just a couple of pointers. He'll point out your hair color, your watch, sometimes it's a long, drawn-out conversation on why that does not go with that and how you should replace that and what you should replace it with. And thank you, Katie. And sometimes he'll just walk in and look at you like, and walk away. You're like, what? What? You don't know if that's a good or bad. Like, you stand there in wonder. And so tonight, we have a few of his victims, or maybe we should call them recipients, advisees, in a segment that we are calling lovingly Pastor D's Unsolicited Fashion Advice.
I will confess that I was on a wayward path. But Pastor pointed me in the right direction. Thanks to your unsolicited fashion advice, my pant cuffs are now always properly tailored to meet my shoelaces.
Well, what I learned from my very fashionable boss of the last 7 years is that when someone comes up to you and says, "Oh, Katie, you look very European today," the proper response is not to say, "Well, yeah, I am white," but to say, "Thank you, you look very nice as well."
One of the first times I preached at Park Avenue, I was sweating profusely from the pulpit. Knowing my propensity for perspiration, I had stuffed a handful of paper towels from the bathroom here on the first floor into my inside suit coat, and when sweat began to bead up on my brow, I whipped that wad of paper out of my pocket, dabbed my forehead, and returned to preaching. Reverend Oglesby, who was sitting behind me right there, gasped. Audibly. You couldn't hear it from the pews, but I could hear it loud and clear, and I could feel him rolling his eyes at me, as if to say, "Rookie." But he never said a word to me, at least not directly. But when I came into the office the following Wednesday, there, sitting on my desk, was a package of 3 brand new crisp white handkerchiefs. With a handwritten note that said, "Tools of the trade." A second remembrance of unsolicited advice. A few years ago, I was planning a trip to New York City to visit my son. Reverend Oglesby said, "Be sure to go by Ferragamo on 53rd and 5th Avenue." Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the name Salvatore Ferragamo, it is a top Italian designer of shoes, luxury handbags, and very expensive small leather items for both men and women. And this luxury line is very expensive. And the flagship store on 53rd and 5th Avenue is located in the Trump Tower. I said, "Reverend Oglesby, I don't wear Ferragamo shoes. And he said, maybe you should. And then, regardless, I wear size 10. Finally, for my birthday last June, Reverend Oglesby gave me 3 pairs of socks, designer socks, of course, with another handwritten note, this time quoting Isaiah 52:7. How beautiful are the feet. How beautiful are the feet of the messenger who announces peace, brings the good news, and announces salvation.
I just want to say, I've never listened to a word he's told me.